Tell me if I'm wrong. You have a 75,000 phone in your hand. There is 8 to 9,000 worth of clothes in your cart, 3 to 5 streaming subscriptions, auto debiting every month, and close to 2 to 5,000 in your savings account. If this is you, you're not alone. You're a part of a generation that will control rupees 2 lakh crore in spending by 2035, but can't afford rent without asking your parents. Here's what's terrifying. A 25-year-old Gen Z today is investing in mutual funds, watching finance reels, and tracking expenses in big apps. They know what an SIP is, they understand compound interest. They're the most financially educated generation in history, and yet they're completely broke. But here's what nobody's telling you. It's not about making more money. It's about 5 specific mistakes that are bleeding their and your bank account dry. And you don't even see it happening. I'm Mahima and this is Beer by Subskill House, and today we are going to show you where exactly your money is disappearing, your brain is wired to spend it, and the 5 things you need to stop doing right now if you don't want to be 35, broke and wondering where it all went. Let's get into it. Part 1. The brutal reality. Let me paint a picture of what's actually happening. A recent EVA India study found that 77% of Gen Z want to own a home, but only 15% have the actual plan to buy one in the next 5 years. 59% dream of buying a car, but 68% would rather blow the money on travel first. And 55% want to travel abroad, which is the only financial goal you're actually saving for. You have millennial dreams with Gen Z spending habits. And that gap, that's where your future is falling apart. Let me show you where your money actually goes every month. 28% into food and dining, but not groceries. Swiggy at midnight, Starbucks work meetings, brunches that cost rupees 800 per person. 18% into fashion and accessories. 8 to 12 clothing items per month. Not per year, per month. 15% goes into entertainment and subscriptions. Netflix, Prime, Spotify, YouTube Premium. You have 4 to 6 active subscriptions, but tell me honestly, do you really watch all that much? No. But it's draining close to 25,000 of yours per year. 31% goes into your rent. And here's a number that should wake you up. 8% is everything else. That includes your transport and your savings. 8%. Now, before you close the video and say, Mahima, I already know I spend too much, tell me something new, my parents already tell me about it. Wait, because the problem isn't what you're spending. The problem is why you're spending. And once you understand the psychology behind it, that it's not your decision making, you can actually fix it. Part 2. The 5 mistakes destroying your financial future. Mistake number 1. You're confusing affordable monthly payments with affordable. This is the buy now, pay later trap. It's the number 1 reason Gen Z is broke. Here's how it works. You see a 5,000 rupee jacket, you don't have 5,000, but Simple says, pay rupees 1,667 for 3 months. It feels manageable, so you buy it. Next week, you see 3,000 rupee shoes on Lazy Pay, just 1,000 rupees a month. Then week after, 6,000 rupee concert tickets on Zest Money, only 2,667 a month. Within 30 days, you've committed to rupees 5 to 7,000 of monthly payments. But during those decisions, it never felt like 15,000 plus of spending because you never saw that number. This is happening to you. It's called payment decoupling. Your brain processes the 1,667 3 separate times as 3 small purchases. But your bank account processes it as a 16,000 rupee. Gone. So, I have a general question. Do you make payments with EMI?
Yes, of course. I buy all my smart gadgets like mobile phone, my laptop, my AirPods, all through EMI. So, yeah.
Got it. And if you had to count monthly, how much do you end up spending on EMI?
If I had to calculate, my rough estimate would be around 15 to 16,000 per month.
Alright, okay. What if I told you that you have to buy all of them at once and maybe the total price is 2.5 to 3 lakh?
Oh my god, I don't think I could take that much of amount upfront. 2.5 to 3 lakhs is way too hefty.
This is what I meant by payment decoupling. Just because the amount is split up, one never really understands what the total cost is, and that is almost always overwhelming. So here's a little exercise for you. Before clicking on pay in 3 or 5 installments, just see the total amount and then ask yourself, will I be able to afford this? If not, you probably shouldn't be buying that product. Mistake number 2. You're treating your credit cards like it's free money. 38% of Gen Z has credit card debt. The average, rupees 32,000. But here's what's actually happening. You're paying 36 to 42% of annual interest on that debt, and you don't even realize it because you're paying the minimum due. Your credit limit is not your money. It's borrowed money with a 40% interest rate attached. You just don't see it. Do you have a credit card?
Yes, I do.
And how much bill do you think approx is spending?
I think around 29k.
Okay, and how do you pay it?
I pay like the minimum amount every month.
So, one exercise which you can do next month, see what sort of bill you have. If you can pay the whole bill at once, then go for it. Use a debit card. But if you're not able to, that's not limitation. That is information. And the information is you're out of money. Don't make the spend. Mistake number 3. You're justifying everything as mental health. That 15k Goa trip, mental health. That 3000 rupee brunch, mental health. That 8000 rupee concert, mental health. According to a Deloitte 2024 Gen Z survey, 68% of Gen Z cites mental health and well-being as primary reason for discretionary spending. But here's what nobody's telling you. Retail therapy is not a therapy. A dopamine hit from clicking buy now is not healing. It's a band-aid on a bullet wound. Real mental health does cost money. Say a therapy session can cost between 1.5 to 3k per session. But instead of that, you're spending 5,000 on things that make you feel better for like 24 hours instead of investing in things that actually heal. Tell me, what do you do when you're like stressed?
I love shopping. I love shopping for clothes, food, shoes, etc.
Okay, and think of the last time you were stressed. What did you purchase?
I just went on a brunch with my besties and then we went for clothes shopping afterwards.
What was the amount you spent approx?
Not a lot. 18,000, 19,000.
Okay, that's not a lot. So the next time you spend on something and call it self-care, ask if it's actually healing you, if it's actually solving the problem, or it's just a distraction. If it's a distraction, you're avoiding the problem and not fixing it. Mistake 4. You're spending to avoid FOMO and not because you want to. Your Instagram shows everyone you're traveling. Everyone eats at those aesthetic cafes. Everyone is wearing the latest drops. And your brain thinks, if I don't do this too, I'm falling behind. How will I be cool? Do you buy on basis of what Instagram shows you?
Yeah, a lot more than I would like to, honestly.
Give me an example.
So recently I saw a bunch of my colleagues, they went on this Goa trip, and I was like, okay, no, I need to go. So I made a plan with my friends and all, and then I spent 25k over down there.
This is the FOMO spending cycle. You think you're buying experiences, but actually you're just trying to buy social validation. The likes, the DMs, the comments, all of that. And it is costing you your financial future. I have a little exercise for you. Next time you think you want to buy something, use this 24-hour rule. Wait for it for 24 hours. Don't think about it. Don't look at it. And if after 24 hours you feel the same, that is when you can make the purchase. Mistake 5. You think future you will save. Currently, you don't have to. 67% of Gen Z have a side hustle. 23% plan to become entrepreneurs. So you believe that eventually you will make it big through content creation, freelancing, crypto, or starting a business. So current spending doesn't matter because the future income will be massive, right? Wrong. According to a 2024 study by the National Institute of Securities Markets, only 4% of side hustles generate more than Rs 50,000 annually. Not trying to demotivate you, your side hustle might work out, but chances are it probably won't too. And while you're waiting for your big break, you're bleeding money on EMIs, subscriptions, delivery apps, and all of this compounds into 3 to 5 lakhs of spending per year with zero savings to show for it. I also know that you have a lot of side businesses. So how's that going?
So currently I'm also doing freelancing as a content writer. Before this, I was starting an online store, and then before that I was working as a social media consultant.
That's a lot going on with your main job. So from this main job salary, how much do you end up saving?
Around 10 to 20k.
Okay, and then I'm guessing these savings go into your businesses. So how much are you making from these businesses?
Not much actually. Same like around 10 to 20k. I'm not earning much.
Here's where you need to start applying the pay yourself first rule. Basically, any money that you make with any of your businesses, pay yourself 20% of it, at least that much, first. You can't spend what you don't see. So automate your savings and then think about spending. 5 things you need to start doing today. Okay, you've seen enough of the harsh reality. Now, let's actually build wealth. Number 1, the 50-30-20 rule. And it actually works. 50% of your income on the needs, the rent, groceries, transport, basic bills. 30% on your wants, dining out, shopping, entertainment. 20% on savings. Invest. If you can't make this work, your lifestyle is too expensive for your income. Period. Number 2, the cost per use formula. Before buying anything, calculate the cost per use. That is, say, a 15,000 rupee jacket worn 50 times is 300 per use, so worth it. But the same jacket worn thrice, 5,000 per use. Absolute waste, don't buy it. This way of thinking will change everything. You stop buying on impulse and start buying on value. Number 3, the kill one subscription challenge. If you have 4 to 6 subscriptions, kill one, just one. You won't miss it, trust me. But 500 per month saved is 6,000 per year, 60,000 over 10 years with 8% compound interest. Number 4, build a 1 lakh rupee emergency fund. Not for fun, not for vacations, but for genuine emergencies. Job loss, medical emergency, family crisis. Make this your first financial goal. Everything else comes after. Number 5, track every rupee for 30 days. I know this sounds tedious, but trust me, you should try it. This is not to restrict yourself, but it's more to create awareness. Use apps like ET Money, Jupiter, or even Google Sheets. For 30 days, just write down every single expense you're making. You'll be shocked at where your money goes. Awareness is the first step to control. Part 4, the reality check. Look, I'm not here to tell you to eat Maggie for 7 years and never enjoy life. But you're a part of a generation that grew up with instant everything. Algorithmic shopping designed to extract maximum money from you. Influencer culture, selling your lifestyle that you can't afford and you don't even need. Complete uncertainty about the future and more financial overload than any generation before you. Your spending habits aren't good or bad, they're just different. But here's what I need you to understand. Your 25-year-old financial decisions will define your 35-year-old life. So rather than going the negative way, go the positive way. So here's my final question for you. That gadget in your cart, are you buying it because you need it? Or because the EMI feels small enough to ignore? Or are you ordering Swiggy because you're hungry? Or because you're bored and that's just easy? Are you going to that concert because you genuinely like the artist? Or because everyone on Instagram is going and they'll post stories and you will feel left out? The answer to these questions will determine whether you're going to be financially free at 35 or still asking your parents for money. The choice is yours. If this video made you rethink even one purchase, drop a comment and let us know which one. And if you want to actually fix this, we've built a free Gen Z money management toolkit. Budgeting templates, expense trackers, fire calculators, they work. Link in the description. It's free, use it. Subscribe for more such videos and see you in the next one.